I love my country and believe deeply in the core principles upon which it was founded. For nearly 3 decades, I've served as a career prosecutor in both Republican and Democratic administrations. I've handled cases ranging from domestic assault and gang violence to public corruption and election crimes across the United States, and I've prosecuted war crimes overseas.
Unbelievable moments in the history of the Epstein scandal. Just 3 minutes ago, a handwritten note belonging to Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, caught in the frame of high-resolution cameras during a congressional hearing, turned into one of the most unbelievable moments in the history of the Epstein scandal. This simple piece of paper on the desk of a career prosecutor with 30 years of service exposed power centers, the Department of Justice has tried to dismantle, hidden names, and protected billionaires. As CNN cameras captured the content of the note during the critical minutes when Smith was testifying about the Epstein files, social media instantly exploded and created a seismic impact around the world. This note was not just a few ordinary lines, it laid bare the behind-the-scenes reality of what may be the greatest miscarriage of justice, in which more than 250 children were abused, while the powerful were protected. This document, written in Smith's own handwriting, exposed both the protected names within the Epstein network and the internal blockers inside the Department of Justice. The moment the note was revealed, a historic exposure. Those moments during Congress's Epstein Files Transparency Act hearing became unforgettable. The truth captured by HD cameras. At the 52nd minute of the hearing, MSNBC's 4K camera focused on the desk in front of Smith as he responded to questions. On the special prosecutor's yellow legal pad, handwritten names, institutional obstacles, and strategic plans were clearly visible. Within seconds, the camera operator zoomed in on the details of the note, and millions of viewers saw with their own eyes the clues to the hidden truths within the Epstein files. 5 million views in the first 3 minutes. As the hearing continued, screenshots of the note spread like wildfire on Twitter. The first post by ProPublica journalist Justin Elliott received 5 million views in just 3 minutes. Within 20 minutes, the hashtags #SmithNotes and #EpsteinFiles became worldwide trending topics. Shock analysis on live television, CNN anchor. Jake Tapper brought an enlarged image of the note on screen during a live broadcast and commented, "This document may be the map of the Epstein network that has been hidden for 20 years. On MSNBC, Rachel Maddow said, "This is the most critical leaked document we have seen since the Nixon era." The content of the note, line by line, exploding bombs. The deciphering of the handwritten note redefined the scale of the Epstein scandal. List of redacted names. At the very top of the note, written in Smith's own handwriting, it read, 2M documents, only 1% open. Why redacted? BA, WJC, PALW, Israel connection. These abbreviations were interpreted as pointing to Bill Gates. The use of BA instead of BG was debated, but likely another shorthand for Bill. Bill Clinton, WJC, William Jefferson Clinton, Prince Andrew, PA, and Leslie Wexner, LW. The phrase Israel connection reignited Mossad-related theories. Blockers inside the DOJ. In the second critical section, the note stated, 3 senior DOJ officials blocking files, MG, LR, illegible, all involved in the 2008 Acosta deal. This amounted to an admission that there were officials within the Department of Justice actively working to conceal the Epstein files. Maxwell's Confessions. In the middle of the note, it was seen written, GM testimony, February 9th, most critical. Flight logs, island visits, video vaults, I must ask. This was a strategic outline of what needed to be questioned during Ghislaine Maxwell's congressional testimony. And the phrase video vaults in particular appeared to corroborate claims that Epstein kept recordings for blackmail purposes. Justice for 250-plus victims. Along the left margin of the note, it was deciphered that Smith had written in capital letters, remember, 250 children, 20 years of injustice, all to protect the rich. Do not stop. Smith's personal motivation and belief in justice were clearly visible in these lines. Acosta's dirty deal. At the bottom, the note read, 2008 deal equals organized crime protection / 13 months versus hundreds of victims / who gave the order. White House pressure? This implied that there may have been larger powers behind the scandalous concession Alex Acosta granted to Epstein. Electric atmosphere in the hearing room and reactions. The moment the note went viral, the atmosphere in the room completely changed. Representative Jamie Raskin notices, during the hearing, Democratic lawmakers learned that the note had exploded on social media through notifications appearing on their phones. Jamie Raskin was heard leaving his microphone on and saying, "My God, Smith's notes are out." Smith's smile. Interestingly, Smith did not panic when he learned the note had gone viral. On the contrary, with a slight smile, he commented, "Some truths needed to come to light." This composure sparked speculation that Smith had deliberately allowed the note to be seen. Silence from Republican lawmakers. What was striking was that even conservative lawmakers did not criticize Smith. It was clear they did not want to take sides on the issue of child abuse. Panic from the Department of Justice representative. Cameras captured. The DOJ representative in the room, Lisa Monaco, with an ashen face making urgent phone calls. Global tsunami on social media. The internet quite literally went wild with images of the note. Historic numbers on Twitter, the hashtag #SmithNotes, reached 35 million tweets within just 4 hours. Hashtag Epstein Files, hashtag Justice for Victims, and hashtag Maxwell Talks trended simultaneously. This marked the highest level of global social media engagement ever recorded around an issue of justice. Anonymous and QAnon mobilize. The hacker group. Anonymous released a message stating, "Jack Smith is one of the real heroes. We support exposing the entire Epstein network." QAnon supporters, meanwhile, analyzed every word of the note, commenting that what we've been saying for years is being confirmed. Viral explanations on TikTok. Gen Z launched a collective investigation to decode the content of the note. The most popular video, an analysis explaining what the abbreviations meant, received 22 million views. Analyses by Reddit. Detectives, Reddit's r/Epstein community analyzed every word, every comma of the note for hours. Users compiled lists of names inferred from Smith's handwriting and mapped out which powerful figures were being protected. Meme culture's contribution to justice. Thousands of humorous posts titled "The Special Prosecutor's Cheat." Sheets scared the powerful were used to carry the serious subject to wider audiences. Support from legal authorities and activists. Professionals and victim advocates voiced strong support for Smith the moment they learned the content of the note. Comment by former Manhattan prosecutor Preet Bharara. Bharara wrote on Twitter, "In his 30-year career, Jack Smith has never bowed to power. His notes in the Epstein files send a message that the powerful can no longer escape. This kind of courage is rare and precious." Alan Dershowitz's unease. Interestingly, Dershowitz, one of Epstein's former lawyers, reacted sharply to the note's contents. "This is an attempt to launch a political witch hunt," he said. This defensive tone was interpreted by some as a sign that certain people were genuinely afraid. Statement by victims advocate Virginia Giuffre. Giuffre, one of Epstein's most well-known victims, said, "Jack Smith's note may be the beginning of the justice we have been waiting for 20 years. Finally, someone is telling the truth, and thank Smith." Support from sexual abuse prevention organizations. More than 50 child protection organizations, including RAINN and Child Help, issued a joint statement praising Smith's courage and calling for all names to be fully disclosed. Shockwaves in the White House and political circles. The emergence of the note triggered panic in Washington. The Biden administration's dilemma. The White House remained silent for 48 hours. It appeared trapped between public pressure to open the Epstein files and concern about protecting certain powerful figures. Crisis meetings at the Department of Justice. According to internal sources, Attorney General Merrick Garland urgently called Smith and asked whether the note had been deliberately leaked. Smith reportedly responded, "The truth cannot be hidden." Supportive stance from Republicans. Interestingly, conservative senators supported Smith. Senator Ted Cruz said, "I will not use any institution, including my own party, to protect child abusers. Smith is doing the right thing." Panic messages from the Clinton circle. According to sources, former advisors to Bill Clinton held emergency meetings in an attempt to develop a damage control strategy. Explosive headlines in the international press. Media outlets from around the world covered the story extensively. The Guardian, United Kingdom. It ran the headline, "Jack Smith's Bombshell. Prince Andrew's name explicitly appears in the Epstein files, reigniting public anger toward the British royal family." Le Monde, France. Under the headline, "The Shameful Document of American Justice. How the Powerful Were Protected," the paper brought renewed attention to the details of the Acosta deal. Haaretz, Israel. The phrase Israel connection, in Smith's note, sparked major debate in the Israeli newspaper. It published an article titled, "Mossad Epstein, Connection Allegations Back in the Spotlight." The Times, United Kingdom. In an analysis titled, "The Note Caught on Camera, a New Turning Point in the Epstein Scandal," the paper argued that the note could represent a Watergate-like moment, moves by Democrats and activists. The opposition and civil society sought to use the moment to push for justice. Demand for a full Transparency Act. 120 Democratic lawmakers introduced emergency legislation calling for the immediate public release of all Epstein files, 2 million documents. Formation of a special committee. The House of Representatives decided to establish a special committee to investigate redactions in the Epstein files and obstruction within the Department of Justice. Jamie Raskin was appointed as committee chair. Pressure for Maxwell's testimony. After the Maxwell strategy in Smith's note became public, pressure surrounding the February 9th congressional testimony intensified. Civil society groups launched a campaign demanding that Maxwell tell everything. Class action lawsuit by victims. More than 30 Epstein victims began preparations to file a class action lawsuit seeking damages from all redacted individuals named in Smith's note. Public opinion polls, the demand for justice explodes. Polls showed just how strongly the public wants the Epstein files to be opened. CNN poll. 79% of Americans said that all names in the Epstein files should be disclosed regardless of status. This figure measured 84% among Democrats, 76% among Republicans, and 81% among independents, an unusually rare moment of bipartisan consensus. YouGov survey. 68% of respondents said they believe that the Department of Justice protects powerful figures. 73% stated that they trust Jack Smith. Awareness among young people. 86% of voters aged 18 to 29 said they were aware of Smith's note. This rate demonstrated how active young people are on issues of social justice. Reverberations within the FBI and the intelligence community. National security circles did not remain silent about the incident. Support from a former FBI director. James Comey issued a rare statement saying, "We need prosecutors like Jack Smith. The powerful must be held accountable." Leaks from inside the CIA. According to information leaked by former CIA officials, it had long been an open secret in back channels that Epstein had intelligence connections and was used in certain operations. Smith's note revived these theories. Allegations of a Mossad connection. Former Israeli intelligence officials denied claims that Epstein collected kompromat, blackmail material, and may have used it for Mossad. However, Smith's question, Israel connection, kept the issue on the international agenda. Maxwell's February 9th testimony, a critical turning point. The most emphasized point in Smith's note was Ghislaine Maxwell's upcoming congressional testimony, the only witness who knows everything. Maxwell was Epstein's closest partner in his 30-year criminal network. She was the only person who knew who went to the islands, which children were trafficked to whom, and which video recordings were kept. Smith's questions, the strategy written in the note, flight logs, island visits, video vaults, outlined the critical questions to be asked of Maxwell. The phrase video vaults, in particular, could confirm allegations that Epstein kept recordings for blackmail. The immunity deal deadlock. Maxwell's lawyers stated that their client would not speak without a full immunity guarantee. However, once Smith's note was revealed, public pressure grew so intense that Maxwell's silence became virtually impossible. The Acosta deal, the dirtiest bargain in history. The phrase in Smith's note, 2008 deal equals organized crime protection. Reignited the Alex Acosta scandal. The 53-page secret agreement. In 2008, Florida prosecutor Alex Acosta made a scandalous deal that gave Epstein just 13 months in jail, with weekend work release, despite the abuse of hundreds of children. Victims not informed. The deal was concealed from the victims, an explicit violation of the Crime Victims' Rights Act, which governs the rights of federal crime victims. White House pressure? The question in Smith's note, who gave the order? White House pressure raised the issue of whether Acosta had received instructions from higher powers. It was recalled that Acosta was serving during the Bush administration in 2008. Conclusion and forward-looking expectations. Jack Smith's note marked the beginning of a new era in the Epstein scandal. This document laid the groundwork for exposing truths hidden for 20 years, showed that the powerful can no longer be protected, exposed blockers within the Department of Justice, became a voice for 250 victims. Political analysts and legal experts agree. This move by Smith will either lead to the complete collapse of the Epstein network or result in Smith being removed from his position. However, Smith's 30-year career shows that this is a man who does not bow to pressure. Maxwell's February 9th testimony will be decisive. If Maxwell speaks, we may witness the downfall of powerful figures worldwide. If she remains silent, or if Smith is silenced, this will become the greatest miscarriage of justice of this century. Jack Smith, who has made, without fear or favor, the guiding principle of his life, continues to move forward in exposing the truth for the justice of 250 children. The moment his note was caught on camera may well have been deliberate, a message that the truth can no longer be hidden.